Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Transportation Talks. I'm your host, Nicholas Robb, and today I'm here with Theresa McMullin with Woodruff Solutions, who's been a consultant with Fairfax County Commuter Services for, I guess now, 7 years or so?
Yeah, 7 or a little more. We were trying to figure that out before.
Yeah, right.
I'm not exactly sure. It's been a while.
Yeah, so I like kind of asking this question to get started with everyone is, what got you interested in transportation? Like, how'd you get to where you are today?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so, quite honestly, this was not what I would have said was my career path.
Yeah. I've had a lot of people say that too. Like, you just kind of, it's the same for myself, like, they kind of just fell into it. Right?
Yeah. Background, this is actually third career for me. So That's aging me, I know. So I started out in the museum field. Then got my master's in education and taught for a number of years and was a school administrator for a number of years. And when I was moving back to Virginia, my very dear friend, Felicia Woodruff, who started our company, said, hey, I'm looking for somebody, and, what do you think? And so we started talking about it, and it took a few months for me to sort of say, oh, absolutely. Actually, I love that idea. Like, I love helping people. I'm very passionate about the environment and for people having transportation options. Right. So that was how I really stepped in. And yeah.
So, like, I guess you said it took you a minute. Like, were you not sure what TDM, Transportation Demand Management, was? I guess, or like you trying to figure out, like, what is this?
I honestly couldn't figure. Okay, wait a minute. So we help people figure out better commute options, and like it took me it just took me a minute to sort of understand, like, oh, this is how you do it. And you go in and you work with the employers and you help make sure their employees know about the options that are out there. Right. And then that's when I realized, oh, absolutely, that sounds like a great fit for me. And I grew up in this area, so I know all about the, transportation difficulties that we face, the challenges we face.
So for someone who doesn't know, how would you describe Transportation Demand Management, or TDM?
So if I were describing it to someone who doesn't have anything to do with it, right? So somebody who's like, TDM, what is that? And it's helping people make smarter, more efficient choices for themselves, for the region, for the environment, in terms of their commute options. It's really making sure they have an understanding of all the different ways that what they do, also how that contributes.
Right. And I guess, what are some of the ways that you do go about helping employers or commuters to try to make a change, I guess?
So, It varies. I mean, honestly, it's I love working with employers who are interested, who are sort of like, well, I don't know what we can do, and helping them, get information out to their employees, meet with their employees, and say, hey, do you ever take transit? Do you ever use Metro? But do you ever take Connector? Do you ever take any of the local options? Are you ever on VRE? Have you considered ride sharing? And opening that conversation for them, because a lot of people, we get lots of really great feedback of, I know it's there, I never do it. I mean, quite honestly, there's so many people who go, yeah,
they just I guess haven't considered it as an option, or it's just like, oh yeah, that's right, I should, Right,
but they don't really know how to read bus schedules, or they feel like, what if I get stuck? Like, what if I use the bus and I really do need to get home and there's not a bus available? And so then it's really fun to be able to talk about our Guaranteed Ride Home program and say, no, you're really never stuck, because, the county offers this in conjunction with Commuter Connections, 6 guaranteed ride homes a year. But it's interesting to watch people when their employer says they're going to start offering a commuter benefits program. What I love about our Plus 50 program is that it gives people that chance to try transit without a huge commitment,
to
right?
it, yeah.
That they can say, okay, well, maybe I'll give it a try for a couple weeks. And, they sign up for their commuter benefits. We give them that free $50 Smart Trip card. And then they get to try it out. And it's not this huge... Yeah, not a huge...
It's like kind of like the segue. It's just kind of getting them over that barrier. And I guess that's what it is, too. It's just getting that person to try it one time. And then it kind of breaks that stigma, I guess, they might have towards it.
I have to admit, it has to probably be 2 or 3 times. Because one time, I promise you, one time and you go, I don't know, that was a lot. I mean, let's be honest. Like, we're in transportation. We know, it's not the most easy way for someone who's used to hopping in their car.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right? If they're used to hopping in their car, it takes a little planning. You've got to look at the schedule. What time do I need to be there? How, make sure you've got your payment method ready. The type of those types of things. But after they do it a couple of times,
it's the honeymoon phase. You got to get
yes.
Like I remember, like when I'd started doing van pull, I was kind of like nervous about it. I'm like, oh God, how does this work? Do they pick me up at this time? Do I have to drive? Should I drive? I feel like all these obligations just around the social aspects, I guess, of taking a van pull, for example.
Yeah.
And it's like after about a month, a couple of weeks of that, you're just like, it's just normal at that point. Like I just think it just takes us a while to get acclimated, I guess, to like a change like that.
Yeah.
And it's not like, I guess that's not, you wouldn't even want to consider it a trivial thing either. I mean, like, how you get from place to place is kind of a big deal,
It is. I mean, it's, and people have to start getting comfortable with the things that they gain by taking advantage of transit, right? Like, people who say, oh my gosh, I love this now. I listen to my book on tape while I'm writing in, or I check my emails before I even get into the office. And
it's like less stressful when you get in, you're like, I'm already caught up.
Right, I'm caught up.
Someone comes in and bugs me, and I feel like,
that's right.
Go ahead, bug me.
Or you see all the meeting requests that have popped up on your calendar, and you go, okay, now I know what my day is. Whereas when you're driving alone, you shouldn't be checking those things. Let's just, I would say you can't, but let's just say you shouldn't.
You should not be.
Yeah.
Well, are there, I guess, common concerns you often hear from employers or commuters that make them hesitant to want to adopt a commute change? Anything like specific that usually like?
A lot of times it's people with their kids, right? I've got to drop. Right. I've got to drop off at daycare, or I've got to get my daughter to soccer practice, lacrosse by 4:00. And again, I think it's just a matter of making that commitment to using transit. I mean, honestly, like that's one of the things when we work with an employer and they do a commuter benefits program and we give the free plus 50 card, part of the note that I always send in with it is thank you for committing to using transit.
Oh, okay.
Because it's a commitment. It really is. And, it's making a decision. Whereas for most of I know some regions of the country, it's not such a thought process. But for Fairfax County, this county was primarily very suburban for a very long time. And now we have many more urban areas. And transit makes more sense because between our traffic and parking issues and
it's only going to keep growing.
Right. It's not slowing down. So...
And I guess, you don't have to, I wonder if it's like a all or nothing. You find with people, with, commuters, it's like, oh, I have to take transit every single day. It's like, I mean, you don't have to do it every day. You could just do it on Mondays, I'll try, taking it.
That's actually something I always talk to people about when they're trying to figure out, well, how much do I put aside for, my commuter benefits? And I say, well, what does your typical week look like? Are you still working remotely 2 days a week and have most of your meetings on, let's say Wednesdays and Thursdays? Well, those are probably the days that you might need your car to get offsite unless your company has vehicles that you can use, which some do. But so I always say just, we use a lot of the WMATA trip planner to say, what is your commute going to cost? So you can kind of figure that out ahead of time. Like, oh, well, if I only take transit on, Tuesdays, then it's going to cost me, I don't know, $10 a day.
I think I'll link the trip planner link up here as well. Because, that's a nice thing, too, is it gives you different options as well, right? So it's like, you could be like, actually, I kind of want to try biking.
Yes.
Could I bike to this, transit location, then get on the bus?
Right.
And then for a while, too, it was just like getting familiar with putting your bike
on the bus.
Because I was like terrified of doing that when I was in college. I was like, I'm going to be holding up the bus and I'm going to look like an idiot. Right. but it really just swings over the front tire and it's just like
so
done.
fast.
Yeah,
and the drivers are so nice.
Plus the drivers will help you, too.
Oh, my gosh. They are so nice. They love to see it because it extends your trip, right?
So,
you don't, if I take my bike and then I'm going to, head just like a half a mile.
And then you can use it while you're at work if you want to run out and get something to eat too and pop back, which is nice. Depending on, where you work and stuff.
Yeah.
Have you had or heard any really cool success stories that stand out from just an employer or an individual employee?
So for making that change?
Yeah, just I guess.
So I have to say, all right, let me back up. So any good success stories? I think it's more about a mindset. So there are a number of employers that when you see a few people at that employer site take advantage of something, then more people want to take advantage. Yeah, right. An employer recently, they instituted a commuter benefits program because they had one employee who was really passionate about taking transit. That was really important to him. They said, okay, let's put this into place. Cool. And then so many more of their employees took advantage of it, and they had no idea other people really wanted it because nobody else was voicing it. Right? And the same thing with a recent Capital Bike Share membership. Again, they just didn't know. Oh, and another employer who they do commuter benefits, but in addition, they have a lot of carpools at their employer site. And it started because a couple of their employees started carpooling together, and other people thought that was so great that they were like, oh, I can do that too. Why don't we do that? So it's a funny thing. I think sometimes people think, oh, our employees don't want that, or we don't do that.
Yeah, it's hard because if you don't hear your employees speaking up, you just have one person, but then you see once the ball starts going, you'd be surprised how many people actually be interested in it.
Yeah.
It's like taking that leap to implement it.
Right. Yeah. Inevitably. I mean, a smaller company that just started a commuter benefits program with us, she had said, I think we only have 3 people that really used, and so, okay, that's fine. Doesn't matter how many people take advantage of it, right? We'll help you set it up. We'll provide the cards. We provide the technical assistance to get it started. But now she's been emailing me every couple weeks with, I've got 4 more people. Hey, can you stop by and drop off a few more cards? Yeah, which, again, I think I know we have a lot of return to office right now. Right. And so that's changing the landscape for employers and employees because no one's really sure what that looks like.
Yeah.
Right?
Do you feel like more people are getting on board with the idea of implementing a transit benefit program because of that, or? That's
my sense. They don't. Well, some of them say it outright. So a couple of our larger employers have been very clear about, hey, we just did a return to office mandate, and we need as many things as we can to help our employees feel better about having some commute options.
Right.
Yeah. But then, but other people just say, oh, yeah, let's talk about that. That might be interesting. I think employers do see it as a way to show their employees that while they're asking them to be back in the office, they want to provide something.
Resource to make it easier on
them. Yeah. And we come on site, we come on site and, we'll talk to employees. We will help them. We'll bring, bus maps. We'll bring whatever it is that people need, to take that leap.
So for an employer who might be listening in, so what does it look like when you go to an employer and you help them implement like a transit benefit program? Like,
Oh,
what does that look like, I guess?
yeah, so it kind of depends on what they want, but usually I'll meet with them. We do kind of a site analysis. All right,
Okay.
where are you? What transit do you have available? Well, okay, I do that before I go into meet with them, right? But when I'm arriving at the building, a lot of times I'm looking around just to see what does the bike storage look like, what other, how many EV charging stations do they have in their parking lot? What their proximity is to restaurants and cafes, things that to make it so that people don't have to drive once they get to the office.
To the office, yeah.
Yeah. So that's and then we start talking about what do they think their employees need, right?
Okay.
So I always want to understand what their vision is first, and then start making some recommendations of, hey, for some employers, they don't have a lot of commuter options. There's parts of the county
Right.
that really just don't. And for them, it's much more about understanding how they can, even making sure that their employees know about the restaurants that are close by, amenities where if they have to drive into the office, what can they do to not drive quite so much?
Once they're there.
Yeah, once they get there. But for employers, and there are large parts of the county that are super connected, like between VRE, bus, metro, so many capital bike shares, which are popping up all around the county.
Yeah, I've seen a lot more memberships starting to pop up and stuff.
People
which is
are really
awesome.
much more interested in that now that we have more stations in different places.
Yeah.
That's making them realize that's a really good option. But anyway, so we just kind of work and talk about what the options are, and that's where I try to make recommendations about, what's, cost-effective ways to support the employees. I mean, even things like painting preferred vehicle parking for ride sharing, right? I mean, that's a super cost-effective way to simply encourage people to ride share. When the spaces right in front of the door are all designated for ride share, well, you might kind of, that wouldn't be so bad.
You carpool and you don't get as wet running into the building when it rains.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, I guess you can have some people drop them right off of the door. That's the other perk of it.
Right.
But that was making me think too. I guess we were kind of talking about how the county's growing and how there are certain areas of the county that don't have as much options to transit as others might. Like, I guess what do you see within Fairfax County's like transportation landscape that makes it kind of unique?
So I do. To me, I see, and our consulting firm, we work in different localities around Virginia, and we have some statewide contracts.
Right, that's why I figured you'd be a good person to ask. 'Cause, like, you've seen
Right,
so many different landscapes.
We do. So Fairfax County is unique in the fact that it's still probably, I'm not a planner, let's say that right now. But my estimation is that we are at least 40% fully suburban, where people rely on their cars in terms of our land mass. But when you look at employer sites, we are seeing so much more density, and these are becoming much more urban planning zones, and which means that there's less parking available to people and more transit options there. So some of our challenges are that we have people that are living in very suburban parts, but they're working in very urban parts. So there's definitely a little bit, I think that's where that disconnect comes in, where people say, I want to take transit or I want to try it, but it's really not super easy or convenient to me. Like, they might have to drive to one of our parking garages to hop on a bus to go the rest of the way into work, or to hop on Metro, or to go to a commuter lot to match up for a ride match.
I guess because I was looking at two recently. It's one of the census on the map data of just the amount of people that come to work in Fairfax who don't live in Fairfax, and then the people who live here that, commute outside of the county too. So it's like all that cross-jurisdictional movement too.
Right. We have so many people coming from, what we call kind of South County, coming up 95, heading into DC. So that adds to our congestion. It adds to our, all of our traffic issues. So they cross through us. So we have to have things in place that, help reduce that traffic congestion.
Yeah.
I know that sounds so basic, and but honestly, that's part of it, because that's where I often hear people say, I thought it was going to take forever to take the bus to work, but I realized I'm spending an hour sitting in traffic, and I'm spending a little bit less than an hour taking the bus. And then they go, oh, hold on. And another thing, so this is another thing that I always think about, is that people don't really calculate in their head the cost of their commute. All they think about is their gas, right?
It's not the oil changes,
right? The brakes, the tires, right? Potholes, yeah, all the wear and tear on your vehicle, all of those things that people don't really calculate. They just go, well, I spend, I don't know, $60 a week on gas, like if they're not commuting in every day.
Funny story, I was just thinking this, like I drive in alone a couple times now, but I was doing it more before COVID and stuff. I did do the van pool for a little bit, but I had only had my car for I want to almost say like 5 years. I almost put like 100,000 miles on it just driving in here. It was just ridiculous. And then compared to my father, who's now retired, but he had this little car that he's had since I was in high school, and he only just finally hit 100,000 miles like last week on it. And I was like, but there's no way. He's like, oh, I was like, you were going to DC like every day. He's like, yeah, but I carpooled.
Yeah.
I was like, how does he still have that little car?
Right?
That car's lasted like almost 15, 20 years just because he was carpooling with it, and I've already way exceeded my way more recent purchase.
I absolutely get it.
Like, you don't really think about it in the long term.
Right. You're not thinking about your car payment, your insurance,
right.
And your insurance premiums drop when you're not driving as much, and I don't know. So anyway, that's a side note.
What was I thinking too? Are there any I guess like new trends or innovations that you've seen, or things that are coming up that you're excited about in the transportation world?
I am excited about bus rapid transit on our Route 1 corridor. Like, I really think I've seen that doing so well in Richmond. And so that's one of those pieces that I'm really excited, because that really gives people a very fast, efficient, and inexpensive option for getting around the city. And the Route 1 corridor has been a traffic issue, for a congestion issue for quite some time. So I'm really hopeful that that's going to make a big impact for all the residents of that part of the county as they commute wherever they need to go. Yeah.
Oh, for those who might not know, can you explain, I guess, a little more about what it is?
Oh, so bus rapid transit is these designated bus lanes, and so it's like they're almost like express buses, but they're able to like bypass certain.
So they're different from like HOV.
Yes, lanes, totally right? Different from an HOV lane. These are completely designated lanes that travel up the corridor, and they don't have anybody else in their lane.
It's just for that.
Just for them.
Yeah.
So while HOV is awesome, I think we've all been stuck in those express lanes before. So bus rapid transit, BRT, I think is how most people refer to it. But BRT service is really truly focused on making sure that bus meets all of its time stops. Boom, boom, boom. And so people are on and off, and it really makes it feel less like a bus ride that feels like it takes a little while. It's like you're on and you're off. It almost feels to me more like when you're on a subway.
I was going to say,
like
it's
on
like
Metro.
It's like the efficiency, the quickness of the Metro, but with like the small, I guess, how's the word? affect not.
Right. It's hard the efficiency of a metro, but with the convenience
of getting
of
off
a bus.
of like a small
because
group,
you're right through a residential area, that's really incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
so
it's more, I guess, affordable too for the jurisdictions and putting, extending metro and stuff out.
Right. Well, yeah, because this can get put into place much faster, and so I'm very excited by that. I mean, and the expansion of our bike trails. Fairfax County is such a bike community. I'm always amazed at how full a lot of our larger employers in the county are really investing in their bike storage facilities on their campuses because the employees want to bike in. They really do. And so a lot of places are putting them, making these really beautiful bike rooms where there are like service stations. I'm
like the toolkits and stuff.
Like the air and
right.
all the things that they need, and it makes a difference. And so when I go and I'll do these site analysis, right, to go around, and I love looking in, and they've put money into these bike rooms, and these bike rooms have bikes everywhere, and that's awesome.
Have you seen, I guess, in the time you've been here, have you seen more of that recently, or has this been a slow growth?
So I will say it was something that people started investing in during the pandemic. I think they had time. When people were not in the building and putting those in, then as they started to return to the office, it's made a big difference.
Huh.
Yeah.
Well, I'm trying to think. I guess to kind of wrap up a little bit, if there's a business who's interested in, implementing some of these programs or wanting to reach out to, like, how would they get started, I guess?
So, first thing to do, go onto our website. So, and I say our because, like I said, I've been doing this with Fairfax County for 7+ years, and I. Sorry, blah, 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 blah.
No, you're good.
Right. So they're going to go onto our website, and we've got email and phone number where people can reach out.
Cool, and I'll put a link up.
Yeah, and it'll be sent straight to me, and then I'll work with our team. We've got 3 people in employer outreach for the county, and I'll make sure that somebody comes right out.
And you guys always kind of do it site specific. Like, you always look into, like, what are the resources for each of these companies, or not even just companies. Sometimes it's just like a whole site. Right. Like property management companies.
Right. So
as well.
Yeah, we can work with property managers. Because that's another piece, actually, Nick. That's another piece is that one of the other really fun things we get to do is recognize employers as the best workplaces for a commuter. And I say employers, but it can also be property management sites. We have so many property management sites that are doing all the right things. I mean, and when I say all the right things, I mean they are providing, they've got EV charging stations everywhere. They've got shuttles to and from the metro from their site. They've got preferred parking for ride sharing. They'll have fitness centers right there in the building, and showers and lockers so that active commuters can clean up after have taken a good bike ride, right? All the bike storage.
Especially this time of year, especially this year, it's been pretty bad.
Yeah, but so we, property managers, employers who are doing those things too. Some employers have, especially our larger employers have, all these things that they've put into place. And employers who are in a building, they've chosen a building because they have those all of these things. Right. Yeah, and then we love to work with them and recognize them as being best workplaces for commuters. And we only do about 10 a year, is what we recognize. So, and we are always on the lookout. We have some research staff that sort of go on to different company websites to see what they've been doing, and sometimes we'll just reach out and say, "Hey, we've noticed you've put all these things into place." And
is it just the national award or what?
No, it's local and regional. So I mean, local and national. Local and national. So at Fairfax County, we recognize them in front of our county board of supervisors. And then nationally, they're recognized through the Center for Urban Transportation Research out of the University of South Florida.
Gotcha. Okay. Nice.
Yeah.
So that's just like the topping too. I mean, especially if
is.
employees already have all that stuff in place.
Right. It's just
And if they don't, do you guys help them work to? I
always.
guess,
Right. Sometimes we'll see, oh, you've got everything going for you, but you're not, you could put commuter benefits into place or, which is so easy. Putting commuter benefits into place is a win-win for an employer because they save money. If they do pre-tax, they save money on payroll and the employee saves money.
Saves money, right.
So it's always a good thing.
Nice.
To talk about.
Well, I have one last question, I guess. What is the most rewarding part of your job? It sounds pretty easy. I think you've already touched on it.
No. So honestly, like the most rewarding part of my job is when I'm working with an employer and they are excited and that they've found that what the programs they've put into place are making their employees happy. I love getting a call and they'll say, hey, I know we did our commuter benefits last year, but our employees are talking about capital bike share. I know you mentioned we could do that. I love helping them do what their employees are going to make their employees happy. It's really fun. It's kind of rewarding, just to feel like, oh, okay. That group of people over there, they're happy. They've got some options.
That's awesome. Yeah, so if there's, any businesses interested, I'll put the information up here on the screen and stuff too. But thank you so much, Therese, for taking the time to come out and speak with me today.
All right, well, thank you.
Hopefully talk to you soon. So thanks, everyone, for tuning in again for another episode of Transportation Talks, and we'll see you soon.